Wagwan ninjas and ninja reds. It's your boy Hype to the DARDO. That is my name and this is the real edit. Shughuli nyingine hapa disaster kuruka. Yeah, so away from the music, away from the entertainment, all of those entertainment, tumeruka tukafanya kila kitu. So this is another day for another one. So I believe so NTV NTV decided to drop something very interesting. So stolen battle inside the beta 207 presidential election haste, which is very interesting. So tumesikia NTV imebaiwa na proxy wa Ruto, which is Ruto himself, yeah. So at the end of the day, so NTV has been bought, which is very interesting. Him being at the center of pia time ya 207, he was at the center because he had to side ya ODM, you know, and he was hakuwa anakubali hizo elections, yeah. The moment they were announced that wakiwa I believe ilikuwa bomba sama kia ICC, he would never access. So him being at the center of it and NTV doing this piece and releasing it now, I don't know, it has a lot of questions for me. I don't know why he has done it. Maybe anajaribu kusafisha or anajaribu kuonesha how Raila was robbed the election. At the end of the day, why is it being done now? And why is it being released now? Venye endo amenunua the NTV nini, I don't get it. You know, sasa unasikia Nairobi nini, alafu I've seen a post somewhere ati alisema he was in a rally akasema ati amenunua hiyo hoteli ya Tuju hamnyang'anyi. I don't know if that is true. I've just seen a post saying that, you know. I don't know that is true, but this ninja, I don't know. Sasa kuna wrangles za Nairobi. Citizen have done a piece on it saying that nani has been mentioned, so he's involved at some point because there was some few meetings held at the president's office in Harambee House na pia in State House, which is very interesting to hear. And I don't know how to feel about this because at the end of the day nasikia. So I was watching Mwafrika akisema petroli ni yeye. This ninja, tenders zote za serikali ni yeye, insurance ya polisi ni yeye. Now he's going for Nairobi hospital. NTV lianza tu kama jokes, people saying it, and now it has turned out to be, it is him who is getting it, and it's under someone, a proxy, some Tanzanian guy who is now wanasema he's a Kenyan guy actually, which is very interesting to hear. I know I might not have the need to need this, but I had to talk about it because at the end of the day I had to watch this because I saw it posted and nikasema I will react to it the moment nimepata time. Now before watching it itakuwa first hand reaction ndio tuone what they reported yo, because what's the point of reporting this now? Itatusaidia aje? Like how will it help us? Because already this is a 207 ni right. Sasa tusha change election nini yetu, like how we do our elections. It's different from this one, you know. So what's the point of this one? Because finally people are saying itakuja kutoka, but it's sad that inatoka sahi, and it's sad inatoka venye baba ashadedi. So how will it help us at the end of the day? It's not helping us at the end of the day because tunajua kuna motive at the end of the day, kuna motive why imereleasiwa and why mbona inatolewa sahi when this ninja amebuy this channel, you know, venye amebuy this station or this media house, you know. Mbona ina release? What's the motive behind this? Because everything with this ninja you have to be very very careful. Everything with Ruto unafaa tu kwetu, yani lazima ukuna na kanini fulani, because what was the point of kutoa hii piece by NTV after nani amebuy, you know. Mbona ikutoleagwa hiyo time? Mbona ikufanywa a year before? Mbona ikufanywa a year after? Mbona imefanywa sahi, you know? Ama anajaribu kutaint you know, now he's having wrangles with Gachagua na kuna venye Gachagua take the mountain, you know, and kuna venye pia some way Ruto amekuwa akionyesha how he doesn't need the Kikuyu vote as much. So kuna venye amekuwa akionyesha I can do this without you, man, you know. So is he trying to discredit the Kikuyu vote or what? There's a lot of questions on this. So without talking too much, because this is a 1 hour video and I want us to do 30 minutes of it, and at least isikuwe refu pia sana, So anyway.
Orange Democratic Movement, 3,000.
Those results that came in as a ban shocked all of us.
Calls started coming in from very senior people.
Which senior people?
They asked me, can you announce this
Wewe ni Miguna nimeona hapo.
result from Abadeas Forest?
We had complete data that
So huyu alikuja kuisema kwa ile funeral fulani. I don't know if ilikuwa funeral ya nani. Wow, I don't know if it's dad or I can't remember very well. But Raila was there, but yeye ndo alikuja akatoa hii nini yote. But mimi sikuwa naelewa what was the point of it, man.
is Raila who had won the election.
Sifuna, so Mufuna ako close to this guy.
Tumeshinda mara mingi, lakini muhimu ni kwamba Kenya ni kubwa kushinda sisi zote.
I told him because I know how cameras work, turn off the lights at KCC. But he didn't do it.
That particular minister threatened me to switch off the lights at the center.
When the lights goes off, I knew what it meant and what I was supposed to do at that time.
And what also came that one of them, I don't want to name them, because I'm with the name.
I would never been armed.
Ama Ruto anajaribu kuonesha venye aliibiwa kura. You know he was part. He was like this. He was part of this nini time. Like he played a very big role your time. He really played a very big role.
The way I was armed that day.
3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. A saying credited to Lord Gautama Buddha and considered sacred points to the revelation of facts being inevitable. In Christianity, a biblical parallel to this is Luke chapter 8 verse 17, which states, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." On this journey of revelations, we take you down the dark memory lane that is Kenya's bitterly, brutally, and bloodily.
Why is it being brought now? Alafu we are close to 2027 next election. Hii kitu mbona ikufanywa kitambo? Like mbona ikuletwa kitambo? Why is it being brought now? When these ninjas bought the station and we are close to the election, anajaribu kusafisha or anajaribu kuonesha how they were robbed when he was part of ODM your time elections. Because now pia another interesting thing, like there are a lot of very coincidental factors zina play hapa. Now sahi wamekam kumerge up na kind of ODM at some way, sindio? Wamemerge up na ODM, sindio? As much as wanajaribu kuonesha no, but we know wamemerge up na ODM, sindio? So is he trying to show how ODM like anajaribu kupull that sympathy card kuonesha venye ODM waliibiwa, kurudisha watu kwa ile emotional nini, kurudisha the ODM supporters kwa ile emotional nini, ndo ikifika 2027 like he can have something to talk about. You know, there is a lot of coincidental factors on why they have posted this.
Disputed election of 2007. A dark and bloody period that saw the country plunge into anarchy for days. We zoom in to the evening of Sunday, 30th December 2007 at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, as it was known then, in Nairobi. Whatever transpired here might have been a well-guarded top secret, but its sun, moon, and truth moment is here. The moment of being known and brought out to the open has arrived.
This is some kind of narrative being trying. Mimi naona ni kama narrative inajaribu tu kusukumwa. Some kind of narrative trying now to be inaanza kusukumwa. Because this piece was unnecessary. People know what happened and what wataki kurelieve that nini. As much as we say finally the truth will come out, but inatu benefit aje. Kibaki the person mwenye anafaa kuniniwa, Kibaki is dead. You know, Raila mwenye is dead. So what's the point, man?
Duncan Haimba, and this is NTV Investigates.
Enda kazi zangu za uhalifu.
But the attempt of this government to steal this election
In a polling station, and with us
Thursday, 27th December 2007. Kenyans in their thousands lined up with hopes for a better tomorrow. The only thing longer than the queues was a string of hopes roped together with the pressure and anxieties of the high-stakes presidential election, termed to be a do-or-die race. The outcome promised to be historic, just as was the case with the 1992 election, where then-sitting President Daniel Arap Moi landed a slim victory over the disjointed and scattered opposition teams. And in 2002, when the United Opposition, the National Rainbow Coalition, NAC, swept the ruling KANU party out of power, ending its 39
lakini hiyo time ya Moi aliamua tu kuninijo
9 years grip on power.
Lakini kama walishikana jo wakaamua ngoyo mjana.
Mwaka hii kuna nyoka ndani ya nyumba yetu ya Kenya. Inalia sivyo? Sisi wanachungwa.
This ninja knew how to deal with the crowd, man.
Tumekutana pamoja. Tukamwambia Balala na watu wa Pwani, shikilieni mkia huko.
It was a two-horse race between Orange Democratic Movement ODM party's candidate Raila Amolo Odinga.
And I will miss this ninja jo. And you tutamiss mjama jo. Kind of di makasai jo I siamini that this guy is not there, man. Like this coming election he would be there. You know, nakatu yani I don't know. Siamini jo.
And the Party of National Unity PNU candidate President Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki.
I am calling upon all of you.
That hotly contested election was an ultimate political showdown of long-running political undercurrents between the two. Some context onto this division. Raila Odinga was shortchanged when President Kibaki failed to honor a memorandum of understanding between NAC and Odinga's Liberal Democratic Party LDP wing, which was that upon clinching power, the NAC administration would deliver a new constitution within 100 days, on account of which Raila Odinga would be made Prime Minister.
So 202 walikuwa change constitution and Raila alikuwa kuwa prime minister. That's crazy.
We were betrayed over the MOU which we signed in a room somewhere in the Nairobi club. And then later on when we said let us now implement this MOU, we were told, oh, that thing is not even worth the paper on which it is written. That a few people went and locked themselves in a room at a hotel in town and then tried to mortgage the future of Kenya. That will not work. And now we became like criminals who had cornered some people to sign an MOU.
As a result,
so this one was about them not agreeing on an MOU. So they were to change a constitution. Katiba ilikuwa ichangiwe ndo afate slot ya prime minister. Yeah, at the end of the day, politics is all about politics inakwaga. There's one thing, if you think there's inakwaga consistent kwa politics, betrayal na selfishness, ama ni selflessness, ama ni selfishness. Lazima kuwa selfish at the end of the day. You know, did we need a new constitution in your time? I believe we did, but was it nini for the Kenyan people? Really? Ilikuwa for the Kenyan, it was for the elite, for them.
NAC regime was divided into two camps. President Mwai Kibaki's and that of Minister for Roads and Public Works Engineer Raila Odinga.
Nataka kusikia chungwa mpaka ifike huko State House.
Then came the 2005.
Yo, old ninja, Joe. This one was another sensation, right? And you're going to wengine will ever miss, man.
Referendum on constitutional reforms. Government was sharply divided. Kibaki led the yes team, whose symbol was a banana,
Akiwa na Uhuru hapo.
while Raila Odinga led the no team, whose symbol was an orange, and which joined forces with the official opposition KANU, led by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto.
Yeah, these ninjas are still together, man. How did we even forget that? Uhuru, Raila, Ruto ako tu hapo bado. Yo Buddha. And then 2027, he becomes the president again. And then 2032, we bring someone else ako kwa hii tu nini. Someone else who alikuwa tu hapa kwa hii circle. Hatutaenda mbali. Kwa hii circle tu bado ndo tutatoa. Buddha, we need to change, man.
The orange team handed Kibaki's banana camp an earth-shaking defeat.
It came out the way it did, that what looked like the opposition won the referendum, the government lost.
Yeah.
And again, that created another problem. At about the same time, remember there was the IPPG, which had agreed earlier on that members of the commission would be appointed by political parties. That was also changed midway. And I remember senior political class coming up to say, well, that was a gentleman.
Our senior political class anafaa wataje jo. Anafaa wataje mambo ndio kusema vitu vaguely. You know? Sema who nani ndo walichange nini yote.
The gentleman's agreement. We have to go back to the rule which required the president to appoint commissioners. At that time, a number of commissioners were leaving.
Yes.
So hapo ndo nini yote ilianza. So they have to go to where the commissioners are appointed by the president. Na hapo ndo waliweza kucheza.
And indeed, the president, Kibaki, went ahead and appointed other commissioners to join us. That created further misunderstanding, further divide within the political parties.
After receiving a resounding defeat at the plebiscite, a furious and wounded Kibaki sacked his entire cabinet.
Damn, ni ndolo jo. Ama uninayosi ni ndolo. Eza.
Kicking Raila Odinga and his faction out.
Yo. Ole. Uni nani? Ole. Anaitwaje ole? Buddha. Hizo masura jo.
I have directed that the offices of all ministers and all assistant ministers become vacant.
The might of these fallouts contributed to the weight of the battle at the ballot in 2007, where the two were facing off in a presidential election in which ODM's Odinga was seen as the likely candidate to dislodge President Kibaki from power. This battle royale saw the drive, determination, and stamina that embodied the cues. Now,
jamaa ali dedingi na stress jo. Alikuja kwa mgonjwa because of just being a douchebag, man. Unatoka kwa yani.
The fiasco that would later define that presidential election began on the voting day, Thursday, 27th December in the morning hours.
Come the day of elections, what hit us first? I had gone to Jamhuri, a polling station, to see what was happening. And while there, I got a call that Raila's name was not on the register. That was a first.
Yo, that's crazy.
Hit. Kibuitu himself had to go to Kibera to confirm that Raila's name was there. And actually he found, because there were lines, there were pools on various lines, he found Raila's name was there. Someone must have looked at the line, which he was, because we arranged them according to alphabets. Someone must have checked on an alphabet where Raila was not, and shouted that Raila's name is not on the register.
His argument and his team was, in fact, they were saying, this is where Raila has been voting since 1992. Mm-hmm. How come now in 2007, his name is not there? What was the hit?
That was not correct information. You know, I think sometimes politicians in the heat of events say things that are not correct. The black book, as we used to call it, the verification book, was there to check if the name did not appear on the register. Then you went back to check to confirm that really, even in the black book is not there.
And then serving Commissioner of Electoral Commission of Kenya, ECK, Ambassador Jack Tumwa says, signs that things would go haywire began on the election day night.
At the KICC, we expected to start receiving results at about 10 at night. I don't know what happened. We waited the whole night. There were hardly any results coming in. Then they started coming in the following day, very slow, at a very slow rate. And we
So I wonder any answer. I'm pretty sure I would
started wondering.
The next 3 days started turning into a nightmare for the commission, even as the tallying went on that Friday and Saturday. A number of returning officers
politics Kenya inakuwaga emotional joy.
Were yet to report physically at the command center, and neither could they be reached on phone. Anxiety
Democracy makachiet
kept swelling.
We will do all we can ourselves.
Mimi nakumbuka hii kitu iliniuma. Hii 207 sikuwa naamini. Hata kama sikuwa naweza kuvote hiyo time singeweza kuvote because I was not of the age of the voting. I was not of the age of voting, but iliniuma.
As I said previously, I am not happy to see results coming the way they are coming, because there is no reason why results should be delayed. There cannot be any excuse. I don't find any excuse whatsoever.
Lakini if
because the whole purpose of introducing counting during at the polling station was to hurry up the process. And although I agree there was a challenge because this time there were more voters, the turnout was higher than ever before. That is no excuse for us to have to be here on a Saturday for elections we held on a Thursday. And we can't get our officers, I don't know. So, I don't know where they are. And so,
I don't know where they are.
We have asked the police to assist us to trace these people where they are, right?
Mr. Chair, you have confirmed to us here, you are so suspicious about your officers delaying the results. And that puts more suspicion on us, who are only agents in this room. Mr. Chairman, you are announcing the results that yourself you say your suspicion, and you are doubting it. How do we feel?
No, I don't doubt the results. The ones I doubt, I'm saying I cannot understand why they have not come. We could wait.
You don't doubt the results. The reason of not this guy is not showing up, it's because so that they can change the results. So the results, if they're not showing up, that means the results are already being manipulated, or they have been already been manipulated. Yeah.
So that there's a time limit. But really the interest of democracy and justice.
Na hii election kaige canceliwe ingekaaje? But sasa unajua there was the hand of the government hiyo time.
It's just denied, but really you know in your heart of hearts that there is something wrong. There is something wrong. And please listen to us, there is something wrong with those figures. If a figure was 66,000, how then does it jump to 95,000? Honestly. Yesterday when I spoke, I did not say I doubt anything. I did not say figures are being cooked. But I said by staying with the papers for so long, one would suspect they are cooking.
Obviously.
Difference between suspecting and the actual cooking. Are you see the sufuria?
Suspecting, okay, you're suspecting, yes, right? But hizo vitu zenye unangoja hazijafika. Obviously they are being cooked. Kama hazijafika on time, what's happening? They are being cooked. And if you can't reach those hours wanafaa zifikishe, obviously they are being cooked. So Ado alikuwa tu anajaribu kuplay nini, but it's not the hand of the government.
All this while, results from opposition strongholds had been received, and Raila Odinga was gaining a commanding lead, or so his team thought. But then came results from 3 of Kibaki's strongholds, Juja, Kiamba, and Tharaka Nithi. And this turned tables and marked the genesis of chaos.
We were extremely uncomfortable, extremely, as the commissioners. And you remember Kibuitu coming up and say, even if, it was in that frustration. Because here are officers that we had interviewed, trained, meaning they went through the process well. Now, to reach a level where your boss is calling you and you're not responding, it caused a lot of suspicion.
Answering a question raised by His Excellency Ruto now. Then, as I don't remember, he was a minister for agriculture. He became, that time he was MP and whatnot. And he raised a question about Nidi. And I remember telling him that even where we sit, Starehe is where we are. KICC is in Starehe. No results had come. And that is a stone throw. So talking about Nidi, I don't see anything odd, undue odd, because even in Starehe, we have not had results. So if Kivuito said this, sometime Kivuito made statements occasionally, which were not intended to harm, but they were ill-advised.
We were shocked at the ECK that places like Nairobi, Pangani, and a few others were not bringing in results.
So kila mtu alikuwa naiba na side yake. Kila mtu alikuwa anacheza kiyeye.
We expected places to bring in the results late. But a place like Nairobi, it was, we didn't expect result to delay because they write their account and bring it there. In fact, it would have been very easy. So that one also left us a little worried. But then on the final day of counting, we went into the afternoon. Then suddenly some results started coming in, which looked a little suspicious.
So some results started coming in which look a little bit suspicious. Which results were these? Adu wameamua kutoa hii piece ndo wacheze na emotions zetu. Walai, wametoa hii piece ndo wacheze na emotions zetu. And I'm pretty sure this one is a directive from the nini himself. We toa ni piece ya 207 ndo tucheze na nini. Ndo hii ni kucheza na emotions za watu hii. Hii ni kucheza na kujaribu kunini za watu. Kujaribu kugaslight watu wengine na kujaribu kutuliza watu wengine. So yeah,
and we said no, this image,
because there is no point of us getting us this piece right now wakati tuko karibu, because I'm pretty sure wacho utaona kama kiongozi ataanza kuongea kuhusu history, kama next week hii wiki hii coming weeks itaanza kukua like story sijui.
And there's suspicion because the graph started just rising, and by the time we reached the final counting, Raila was losing.
Listen.
It was that afternoon that the opposition asked us to do verification. And we took a whole night verifying both the opposition and the government, the civil society, and other observers. We stayed all night verifying the results. Yes, we found quite a few mistakes in that verification.
When it came to the last days of counting the votes, the whole Tharaka Nithi things, two things happened. One is that we were a bit confused because our records were showing from our side, Kibaki said, that he was winning. But what we were seeing on media was Kibaki was losing. And then we realized that the media houses were not really, telling Kenyans the truth about what was being read. You know, they would read, you get the figures being read at KCC, but the strongholds of Kibaki were not being reflected.
The government of the day took a first step in trying to manage affairs after holding a crisis meeting at State House, Nairobi, on how to stop the media from
So if they were confident that they were winning, mbona alisweariwa in State House?
Casting the results.
Waziri Michuki called a meeting at Harambee House, and a citizen was represented, Nation Media House by Ngedi Mwangi. We went there, all the media houses came, and he was there with General Ali, and we asked that question.
It was a tense meeting. It was in the morning. We didn't know. We were just called. We didn't know what it was about. And I remember Minister Michuki was very agitated. Very, very agitated, and was accusing the media of, blowing this thing up. And the main message was that we needed to de-escalate the situation.
That morning, the Standard newspaper had carried what became a famous, or to some infamous, headline: Raila takes early lead. That was based on results tallied by the time. Government mandarins were seething with anger at the Standard Group's editors.
I remember that day, it was so bad because they were saying the Standard had their own, figures, and KTN too. I remember one presenter whose name I won't mention again, when she was presenting, asked, where is this guy getting these figures from? When now it started dawning on the public that actually Kibaki now is recovering and is taking the lead. That is where the problem started. Because already the nation had been prepared that Raila was leading, Raila was going to be the president. And then all of a sudden, Tharaka-Nithi comes, Juja comes, Even as we were there now, wondering, okay,
what is happening?
Not of Kenya of today. You have allowed, you have disallowed. Now listen.
The 24 hours that followed were consequential to the country. NTV Investigates has learned that the evening of Sunday, 30th December, was the execution phase of a well-crafted state machinery scheme with three key units: KICC, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and State House. It was executed with military precision, supervised by then Lieutenant General Julius Karangi, who was the Vice Chief of General Staff at the time.
So hii kitu ilikuwa hii kitu wametoa hii piece kugaslight watu wa ODM, kurudisha hizo emotions. And since Ruto, he's joining with ODM and they are going to need together in 2027, that's what they are aiming. Because wanataka manini ODM wa Raudi waseme Ruto pia alibiwa kura hiyo time, nini alisimama na sisi, because I'm pretty sure ataanza kupiga hii story jo.
I'll give you the mic. Heavenly Father, we want to pray in the name that you're going to...
Time was running out, and it would appear losing power was a possibility but not welcome on the Kibaki camp.
Our fear was we would get, if the president would get win, Raila Odinga would get a judge to issue an injunction stopping the swearing in.
Yeah.
And so we're all locked up in State House. So because if I'm served and Mudhara is served, then there would be no swearing in. and the president. And we had gotten, because Wako told us, Amos Wako, Mheshimiwa told us that how Moi had done it before, we had gotten the Chief Justice to be around, just in case. But the figures were not coming, and then there was chaos at KCC.
Yeah.
And as the chaos were going on, I could see it was well calculated to stop Kivuitu from reading the results. Kabisa, Kivuitu was being stopped from reading the results. Because the previous nights, Martha Karua, Mutula Kilonzo, William, I don't know the route was in that list, but Orengo and others had gone to KCC and to do tallying.
We reached a level where we thought people were going to start fighting in the KCC. And when some of the politicians came on the stage where we were seated, lucky enough, the GSU were all around there. They came and surrounded us, and they escorted us back to the office. But you know, we had to announce the results. We had to announce the results on that day. So we moved to the VIP lounge on the KICC.
Mwadime, I remember, came and chased people who were really people like the present president, who was with Raila, was aggressive. And word also came that one of them, I don't want to name him, was armed with grenade to throw at us. Right? One of them from ODM.
One of them from ODM. Alikuwa na grenade. That's crazy, man.
That's why we moved to a guarded room from the center, from the hall where we are announcing elections.
So they had that one of them had an ini. That's crazy. The only people who had grenades here time ni police. Grenade inatolewa wapi na Wakenya? Politicians. Ati wende hapo if they had it or if they had it kingeumana, because the tension in that place ilikuwa serious. So this guy is just anaongeza tu chumvi.
And Fit has had it. He is now a big opponent of ODM.
Now my memory is that after the delegates, the members who were in the hall started making noise, and the place looking that it was becoming chaotic, we suddenly saw the GSU who came at the high table. You know, we were sitting on the stage, came and surrounded us, and things were looking bad. We were sort of guided to go back to our sitting room. The member of the grenade, and I didn't hear about it. If it happened, I mean, if someone says something like that, perhaps they had evidence, perhaps it was the talk. The rumor of the day, I cannot subscribe to that.
Listen, Bahari.
So during this period in State House, Kibaki was cool. He was just waiting, and his view was, let Kivuitu announce the results. Let us know what the results were.
When the fracas began at the Tallying Center, what the country and the international community did not know is that whatever was going on had been well scripted, including timelines of when everything was to happen and what would trigger it all.
Kuwa serious. So it was all stage managed. Like how venye vurugu itaanza, venye wataanza kusukuvurugu.
Mr. Chairman, please take control.
Shit. Usiniambie yote ilikuwa stage managed. Crazy. So this nakwambia ameanza sinakwambia hii piece, the moment waliamua kurelease piece walikuwa najua ataingia kwa emotions za watu.
Nimrod Mbai was at the time a police sergeant in charge of government spokesman Alfred Mutua's security. Sundays were their off days, but that day he was told to be on standby alone and to ensure that no other team members were in the know.
Dr. Mutua calls me in the office, nikaingia. The secretary was not there. Tulikuwa tu sisi. So I find him with another guy. Tukakaa. I can't recall the name. It was around 5 in the evening. So this guy breaks the news. Is in Bwana government spokesman. Si mnaona vile kunaendelea, na I hope huyu ndio kijana alikuwa ananiambia anakuja. So daktari akamwambia so hatujui vile siku inaisha, lakini kuna kitu moja tunajua, Kibaki mpaka kwa rais. And tumeangalia hii kesi yote, the senior most government official ni wewe, and tunajua uko na security, tunajua the security structure ya KICC, tunajua Nimrod ni sergeant ya polisi na kuna hiyo extra security card. So at kuna masaa itafika, the government has to take over.
So ninja ilikuwa KICC, haikuwa hata State House ikisema hivyo. Nakwambia kitu wameka tu kutugaslight jo. Kuna mtu ameamua yani anataka kugaslight watu.
Hizi chomeke. So tukaongea yetu sasa. Hii kitu Nimrod. Sasa nikamuuliza hii kitu haitaletea shida. Ananiambia wewe si umeambiwa ulikula kiapo. Nikamwambia ni sawa, hakuna shida. Hata akaniambia vile nimesikia ile shida imekuwa shida kubwa.
Anaongea tu kakarao.
Na hii plan wako nayo, ile kitu wanataka kututumia, nimeshinda vile wataifanya, ni vile Kivuitu watatoka KICC. Ni kama hiyo ndio shida kubwa. From Dr. Mutua's words, ile kitu imewachanganya kabisa, ni vile Kivuitu atatoka KICC.
So walikuwa wanataka kuexit mjama, wamuexit.
A tense and panicking Mbai had to be thoroughly prepared on how to whisk Kivuitu from KICC. Firstly, it was creation of a code word. They chose their native Kamba language to make it easy for them and complex for other years.
Sasa nikamwambia the other thing we need to confirm kwamba ni sisi tutatumika kumtoa mpaka alijue, kwa sababu sasa ajui sahihi, aelewi, yu mzee ajielewi, ajui nani ni nani. Hii wanasiasa wampigia kelele kutoka asubuhi, kamera zote, hiki yote, ile kelele amepigiwa, not unless ananijua na niamini kwamba ni mimi, it will be a challenge. Na mzee wangu tukubaliana, we agreed on a password. So hata njoo ni mzee, hata sahau sura, nikimwambia hii ama nikija ni muite hivi, we use a word from his place hapo Mpione. So akisikia nimeitana jina ya ile kijiji yake kabisa ya nyumbani, na yeye ataitana ile jina yangu ya kijiji nyumbani. So tukaelewana na akaandika jina ya my own village, na mimi nikaenda na jina ya his own village. So I was the one to start. There is another village chini ya Mpione. So that is the one I was to use.
Secondly, the administration police sergeant was subjected to a quick-fire marksmanship test at that hour and be ready for any eventuality in the duty that lay ahead, that of whisking Kivuitu away.
I would never been armed the way I was armed that day. Actually, when we got to this briefing at around 4:30 in the office, I remember a DCI guy calling me and telling me, Nimrod, you need to test your gun and take a few shots, and we see how good you are. So there is a range, a government range. A range is a place where security guys go and train on firing. There is a government range in town. So we went to this building within town. Actually, I just walked, and we went to the range, and I had gotten used to. So tulikuwa tumeelewana na bunduki yangu kabisa. I knew I could not go so much off the target depending on a certain distance. So even with the extra fire they gave me, I stuck to mine. But with this officer who had been charged with the duty of making sure and testing my marksmanship capabilities and the gun I'm using. You know, different guns will fire differently. Then the person firing, depending on his skills, the gun will also fire in a certain way. So we went to test the gun. I tested it before him, and whatever he did with the information, I don't know. But I knew he was reporting somewhere that Nimrod yako sawa. Because hakuniambia anibadilishie bunduki. I told him he's working, I will work with my gun. Akaniambia bunduki kwama. So you have to have another one. Kwa sababu hii yako ikikwama, what do you do? So we took the second one. It worked perfectly, like mine, and so we went ahead.
Crazy. Nakwambia hii kitu imepostiwa tu kutu gaslight hii wala. Hii kitu kuna watu ina target. Kuna an audience these ninjas are targeting. Because mbona itoke sahi during just close to the election. Alafu wakati ODM imeshikana na Ruto. You know? And yani kuna a lot of coincidences zina happen kwa history yote man. So anyway, acha tuachie hapo. We are going to go to the next one later. And yeah, I hope I don't know when I'm not feel about this, because this one is very, very interesting to see. And it was very unique kuona jo, like why now? Because I believe before ungefanya hizi investigations kitambo, and people knew ikurailibiwa. So what else do they have to tell us? You know, wanataka kutuambia the Kenya ili happen, maybe, you know, ndio maybe when 2027 comes nani anaweza cheza a different way, you know, tukijua I don't know, and it's like anyway, this is the real edits and I'm hyped to the DARDO. That is my name. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and also comment. And if you're watching without doing the latter, man, do it as fast as you can, dio. You don't miss the next one, sindio? And others don't miss the next one. So anyway, tukimalizia tunasema it's all about content.